Hey everybody, welcome to Speech Chick Chats. We are chatting about Valentine's Day and how to use Valentine cards for speech therapy. Now, this video applies to both SLPs, assistants, and parents alike. So there's nothing in this video that only speech therapists can use in their sessions or only parents can use. This is something that can be used across the board for anyone. So what you want to do is if you are a parent that has a kid in speech therapy, you want to double check with your speech therapist, make sure you've got the right target words that they're working on, or you've got the right language concepts that they are addressing in therapy so that you are using this activity the way it needs to be used for your child. Okay, if you are a speech therapist, you can use this individually like I do, or you can use it in a group however you need to. You can always adapt it however is necessary for your groups. So what I'm starting out with are two boxes, the most popular or two of the most popular cartoons with most of the kiddos. I tried to keep everything kind of gender neutral, and since a lot of my kids are boys, they like PJ Masks, but I've also got some girls that do love Paw Patrol and they do love PJ Masks. So I picked up these two boxes. They were 98 cents a piece. They have 32 Valentines in them. And so that's what we're going to be using in all of the examples today in our video. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get them all out and tear them apart. Now, if you are a parent and you are using the leftovers, or you don't really want to buy an extra box, so that's why you're using the leftovers, or you've kept the boxes from years past and so you have a ton of different ones to use, that is also a huge plus. So what you want to do, you want to make sure, like I said, you want to make sure they're all torn apart. And the first thing we're going to talk about, the first target, is articulation. Now, this one's pretty simple that you can do. It will take, I have one way that you might have to do a little bit of prepping. I have another way that you don't have to do any prepping. It's super easy. In my case, I have our Paw Patrol ones already set out. And what you can do with these is you can write target words. So instead of where it has the two in the front, you just write a target word on there. So let's say that we have a kiddo that is working on the word, on the letter S. So we are going to write super, okay? And we're just going to put it right there on our card. You can fold it up if you want to. You can leave it alone. It's up to you on that part of it. You can do that with several of these. If you're a parent, maybe just do like 10. You don't have to do them all. And then you can stick them in a bag. You can stick them in a box. I found this super cute mailbox at Walmart. Target has them as well. You can put them all in there. Shake them around really good and have the child pull one out, and then they have to say their word. If you have a non-reader, of course you're going to need to help, or you can also print out pictures and stick them on there. If you've got stickers around the house for different chore charts or whatever, you can stick them on there. It's a little easier for me to just write some words on there than it is to kind of hunt down a whole bunch of pictures. But you do what's easiest for you and will work for your child, or in this case, if you're a speech therapist, what will work for your client or your students. Now, if you don't want to do that, or if you're a little low on time, what you can do is you can use this side. Really easy. We've got this one that says happy thoughts. So what you can do with this one is they can just practice the phrase that's on the front, because right there you've got your TH. So if you've got a TH kiddo, or you've got your final consonant, or you've got your kiddos that are working on the final S or the final blend at the back at the end of the word, this is a really great way to use it. If you have a non-reader, you can also use the pictures there. So here we have sky. So you've got your S blends, and you also have a K. Then we also have Everest. Hello, more S's and S blends. You also got that R, maybe a V in there if you're working on that kind of stuff. So you can definitely use that. There is also a rainbow back there. So if you've got any R kiddos, if you've got any kids working on maybe more than one syllable, if you're working on that middle B sound, right there. We've also got cloud, so you can use your L blends right there. You've got your K sound, and you've got your final D. You can also talk about what color the cloud is if you want white. So so you can have your final T sound. So you've got all of that out of one card. Okay, we have another one right here. Again, we have sky. That's positively happy. Any guesses on what sounds you can use for that one? If you guessed, if you guessed V, if you guessed SZ, actually with this word, even though it's an S, it does make that Z in there with positively. So I always try to point that out with the kids that are working on those S's and Z's and show them that even though that is an S, it does make a Z sound. So we have to turn our motor on for it. So that's another one. Then we've got all of them in there. And yeah, we have the word smile. So obviously this deck is really, really good for S's, S blends, that kind of stuff. Okay. So there's your articulation. If you want to use PJ Masks, I have those over here as well. You've got owlet, so there's your L. You've got gecko for all those K's and G's that we work on. And you've got catboy for another K sound. And then we've also got that R for hero. So you've got different things in there. We've got superhero, so you can make it a little bit harder. But that's what you can do with those. And then, of course, same thing. You can write on the back any target words. I like to use Sharpies. You can use pretty much any kind of marker or a pen, whatever's handiest for you. Okay, so that's one way to use our articulation. Like I said, you can also pick up this little mailbox, put them all in there, juggle them around, let the child pick out. Maybe you are a mama and you have these, or you're a caregiver and you have these at home for your kiddos to use. You could easily put one in there every day, and maybe you talk about that one that day. You can go, oh, check your mailbox. And one of those is sitting in there, and you can talk about the word that you've written on there, or you can talk about the picture, whatever's easiest and whatever seems most fun for you at home. Okay, so that was articulation. The second way that you can use these is for describing. Now you're going to think I Spy with this. Now these cards, a little bit tricky to do, but I think you could still do it. These are kind of better for if you've got one that has a lot of pictures, a lot of things going on in it. But like for this one, you could lay these out. Let's say you have these 3 cards out right here, and you say, I spy a Valentine with a firefighter on it. Well, obviously, we're going to look right there and we're going to find Marshall, aren't we? So that's one way you can do it. You can also have older kiddos, and maybe you're not using this kind of Valentine. Maybe you're using some of those little bit harder ones. You have your older kids, they describe the Valentine to you, and then you have to find it. And it's always kind of fun to have them describe it, and then you pick out the wrong one and see how they react, because you're kind of sabotaging what they are expecting from you. And so it's kind of fun to do it that way, because then they have to give you more description in order for you to find the correct one. So that's a lot of fun. Another thing you can do, and this is for any type of Valentine, any kiddo, it does not matter. You can do this in a group. You can do this at home with a private client. You can do this in the home with your own child. It's super easy to do, and it's hiding Valentines. So you don't even necessarily need a mailbox for this. You have furniture. You have rooms in your house. You can use them however you want. If you want to just keep things, and maybe you have a living room / kitchen that's like one big grand room, maybe you want to keep everything in there, that's up to you. You can also spread them around the house for the older kids so that they have to understand clues like, I left a Valentine in the room where you brush your teeth. So then they have to think about what room they brush their teeth in and go to that room. So there's a little bit more complex language things going on there than just saying, okay, everything's in this one room, and you have to find the one that's under the couch, or you have to find the one that's beside the dog bed. Those are types of things that you can do with this. That's spatial concepts. We always have kind of a few different names for them, but I like to call them spatial concepts. On, off, in, out, beside, behind, in front, different words like that. Behind, you can always use those. You can put things under the kitchen table or a kitchen chair. If you want to use the kitchen, maybe you put one in the sink if it's dry so that it doesn't mess it up, or if the kiddo can even get to the sink, you might have to put one maybe in a drawer that's a little bit lower if you have a younger kid. You might want to have to put one on a chair, on a kitchen chair, so that they can reach it a little better than maybe putting it on the kitchen table. But you can talk about different places that the Valentines are. If you have one that understands all those concepts but has a hard time, I have a lot of kids that use the term right there for everything, right there, right there, right there. And I know that we catch ourselves doing that a lot around the house. Oh, that's over there. Oh, that's right there. But what you want to get in the habit of is really using those different spatial concepts in order for your child to understand what they mean. So I always tell kids when they say right there, I'll go, that doesn't tell me anything. Tells me nothing. If I close my eyes, I still have no idea what you're talking about. So we really get down to specifically where things are. So that's a fun way to do that with these. And then maybe hide a piece of candy under one of them or hide a little toy, things like that. I went to Walmart and found these little poppers. I use poppers a lot in therapy, and these were some really cute little mini ball shooters. They're dinosaurs, and they have a little ball in them. Maybe you have one of those at the end as like a little scavenger hunt. Maybe you have a Valentine that's sitting inside a cabinet or inside a cabinet on a cookie sheet, or maybe it's inside the fridge on top of some cookies. And once they find that last one, then you get to bake cookies and have some fun with it. So that's another way. So far we've covered articulation, we've covered describing, which with describing, I didn't hit this point, but with describing, it's also you're working on sentence structure because they've got to make sure that if they're describing something to you, they're getting the adjective in the right spot before the noun. They're using a complete sentence so that you can figure out what they are talking about. And then when you're modeling it, I spy a Valentine that's has 3 superheroes on it, and the background is very dark. There are small hearts in the back, those kinds of things that will help them out, because if you have these two, they both have all 3 superheroes and they all 3 have hearts. But this one's blue, you can't really tell, but this one's black, and it has the small hearts back there. The last thing that you can do is probably the easiest one. And you can do this with just one package of Valentines, or you can do it with multiple packages. It's up to you. But if you do it with just one, that makes it a little bit easier. So you go through, you pull them all apart, and they have to categorize these. They have to sort these. So they have to find all of the positively happy. They have to find all of the 1, 2, 3 smile. They have to find all of the follow your rainbow, all of those, and put them together in categories so that you can work on that sorting thing. And it's really good for little ones to work on sorting. A lot of people will say, well, that's not really a language. That's not really a speech thing. It is language because you're doing the early stages of categorization, because the later stages is going to be name me a fruit, name me a zoo animal, name a farm animal. Those are those higher up, slightly older things that we ask kids to do. So this is the ground stage of it, is sorting things that are alike. You can sort things that are the same color. Maybe you go through and you sort, kind of hard with this one, but maybe you sort all the ones that have just sky. Maybe then you also find the ones that have all 5 of them. And maybe you have the ones that just have Everest and sky on them. So in that case, you would be using, let's see here. Here's just 2 of sky. So you could put those together, or you could find just those. It's up to you on that one, however you want to set that up. I'm trying to give you a few options so that you can find the one thing that meets your child's need or the children that you're working with in speech therapy. So that is what I have for you today on using Valentines in speech therapy. Super easy way. Like I said, I bought these boxes for 98 cents. You can also, I will go ahead and tell you this, you can also wait till after Valentine's Day and buy a whole bunch of different kinds on sale for probably 75% off. I think a couple of years ago, I bought packs for less than $1 that were originally $3 and $4. So those are really great ones. I will also share this bonus. It is 2022, so if you pass these are really cool because they have to do the finds. They have to do the seek-in finds. So they have to find, let's see here, 9 peppermints. They have to find 7 ice cream cones. Those are really cute too for Candyland if you're a big Candyland person, because I love Candyland. And I think a lot of speech therapists love Candyland as well. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our video. I hope I gave you some tips that you can use with your child at home, or if you're a speech therapist like me, hopefully I gave you some new ideas that you can use that will make things easier, and it's super easy planning. I see you guys all again soon. Bye.